Welcome to the Mesozoic era, the era that everyone knows, the age of giants, monsters, and the first feathers. This is a time when the Earth was an arena of struggle, discovery, and disaster. Let's take it in order. The Mesozoic period is divided into three main events: the Triassic, the Jurassic period, and the Cretaceous period. The Triassic. After the most terrible mass extinction in the history of the Earth, the Permian, silence reigns on the planet. About 90% of all living things have disappeared. The seas are empty, the forests are scorched, the air is dry and hot. We can say that the Earth has started with a clean slate. It's like a huge reboot of life. And so, slowly, almost imperceptibly, the planet begins to come alive. First, in the oceans, bivalves, ammonites with swirling shells, and tiny crustaceans survive and reproduce. A little later, the first marine reptiles appeared. Ichthyosaurs, similar to modern dolphins, and nodosaurs, semi-aquatic hunters with long necks. The world is filled with movement again. On land, the climate is hot, with many deserts and little rain. Most of the land is Pangaea, a single supercontinent that looks like a giant cracked pancake. Huge plains, sparse forests, volcanic activity. But this is where a new chapter in the story of life begins. The first dinosaurs appear. In the Triassic, they were completely different from the ones we used to see in movies. They were small, light, and bipedal creatures. They are fast, agile, and often have feathers or scales. For example, Eoraptor is one of the first dinosaurs, the size of a dog, but with sharp teeth and quick reflexes. Many strange and new reptiles are appearing. For example, pseudosuchians, similar to crocodiles that run on their hind legs. They competed with dinosaurs for dominance on land. The first mammals appear. At night, while large predators are sleeping, tiny, furry creatures with warm blood and good hearing hide in burrows and feed on insects. They are still invisible, but they will survive when the dinosaurs disappear. The continents have not yet separated, and animals can freely migrate across the land. This creates unique ecosystems, where reptiles dominate almost all niches. The climate in the Triassic is hot, dry, and unstable. Sometimes there are violent volcanic eruptions. The weather is changeable, and any form of life must be flexible in order to survive. It is during this period that evolution accelerates, free ecological niches, a minimum of competition, and life goes on a rampage, trying everything in a row. This is an era of experimentation, from strange reptiles to the first dinosaurs. The Triassic is like the prologue of a great play. Not the most famous characters, not the most spectacular scenes, but it is here that the foundations of the Jurassic and Cretaceous worlds are laid, when the Earth will become an arena for the most impressive creatures in the history of life. And that's after everyone starts hunting each other. Small dinosaurs, various reptiles. The next stage of the Mesozoic era has arrived. The Jurassic period is the golden age of dinosaurs. Life has not just recovered from disasters, it has blossomed in all its glory. The planet is being invaded by giants, literally and figuratively. Dinosaurs are becoming dominant. They fill all corners of the Earth, from dense forests to open plains. Titanic herbivores appear, such as Brachiosaurus, with a long neck and nostrils on top, like a submarine. Diplodocus is almost like a train, up to 30 meters long, with a whip, like tail. Stegosaurus, with plates on its back and spikes on its tail, a living Jurassic tank. But not only herbivores reign on Earth. They are confronted by predators. Allosaurs, with huge jaws and sharp claws. They were hunters and scavengers, one of the first top predators of the Earth. And now, to the sky. The first real birds appear. It was during the Jurassic period that dinosaurs first got off the ground. One of the most famous examples is Archaeopteryx. It's like a transitional link between a dinosaur and a bird. Feathers, wings, and a beak, but also with teeth, claws, and a long tail. He could perhaps Not so much fly as glide, like a flying squirrel. But evolution has already headed for the sky. Plants are also experiencing a rapid flowering. There are coniferous trees, the ancient ancestors of pines and spruces. Cycads, similar to palm trees but closer to ferns. Ginkgo trees are relict trees that can still be found in parks today. These plants form lush, green forests, covering the continents. The climate is getting milder and wetter. Humidity increases, swamps, river valleys, and evergreen thickets appear. The continents are starting to spread apart. The supercontinent Pangaea is splitting apart. The familiar outlines of Africa, America, and Eurasia appear. New seas and oceans are forming between them. Coasts and islands are appearing. This greatly affects the climate and animal migration. The seas have their own drama. Ichthyosaurs, similar to dolphins, chase fish. Plesiosaurs with long necks swim between coral reefs. And pterosaurs are soaring in the sky, the first real flyers, although they are not related to birds. The Jurassic period is like a symphony of nature, where every form of life plays its role. The world is getting brighter, more diverse and louder. And after the Jurassic period came the last period of dinosaurs, the Cretaceous period. This is the final act of the great age of dinosaurs. The world is reaching its peak in diversity, life forms, and ecosystems. Every niche on the planet is occupied by someone. Land, water, sky. There are true legends at the top of the food chain. Tyrannosaurus rex is a giant predator, almost 13 meters long, with jaws capable of crushing bone. Triceratops is a three-horned tank with a massive bone collar and a fighting disposition. A velociraptor is a small but intelligent, fast, and coordinated hunter, possibly with feathers. These species have become an icon of paleontology, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. Hundreds of others lived in the Cretaceous period, from armored ankylosaurs to ostrich, like ornithomimes. Plants are also making a revolution. Flowering plants appear, and with them, for the first time in the history of the Earth, flowers. It changes everything. The world is becoming more colorful, more fragrant, more diverse. Flowers attract insects, and they learn to pollinate them. A union is emerging that will last millions of years. Insects become specialized. Bees, butterflies, beetles develop along with flowers. There are still mammals in the background. Small, nocturnal, secretive. They can't compete with dinosaurs, but they continue to evolve in the shadow of the giants. Some are already starting to fatten their offspring with milk, while others are developing acute hearing and fur. They're waiting in the wings. The oceans are dominated by marine reptiles. Mosasaurs, similar to giant crocodiles, hunt in the open seas. Plesiosaurs, fish, ammonites, and squid form complex food webs. Pterosaurs scour the sky, some of them reaching a wingspan of 10 meters. These are the aerial titans of their time. But everything ends. 66 million years ago, the Earth was facing a catastrophe. A giant asteroid with a diameter of about 10 kilometers is falling into the area of the current Gulf of Mexico. The impact force is millions of nuclear bombs. The ejected dust obscures the sun. A sharp cold snap begins. Photosynthesis stops. Plants are dying. The chain is collapsing. At the same time, volcanic activity is increasing, especially in India. The so-called Deccan lava ladders. The atmosphere is poisoned. The oceans are acidifying. This is the end. 90% of all species are disappearing. Dinosaurs, with the exception of the ancestors of birds, are dying out. Marine reptiles are disappearing. Entire ecosystems are being reset. But this is not the end of life. It's a new beginning. On the wreckage of the old world, the next player rises. The mammals. The Cretaceous period ends the Mesozoic era of dinosaurs. There's a new chapter ahead. The Cenozoic, the age of mammals and humans. The results of the Mesozoic. At the very beginning of the age, dinosaurs defeated reptiles in the struggle for a place on Earth and began to rule the Earth. In the second period, they evolve. Many species appear, and the third fatal period, when nothing foreshadowed trouble. A meteorite falls and kills 90% of all living creatures. Almost all plants, dinosaurs, and aquatic life died. But it opened a new era where, looking ahead, the first people appeared, and soon it will reach us. That's it. Wait for the new video.